All right, guys, welcome back to Zando Football. Definitely appreciate the support. In this video, we're going to get into the first video that dives into the playbook that I'm using this year. I'm using Shotgun Mix. It's an alternative playbook. Use the timestamps, guys. So, I always rewatch my videos and put in the timestamps to help you guys out so you can skip over things that you already know, okay? I've checked every single playbook in the game of Madden, and this is the one that is closest to what I like to run. I really don't like most of the playbooks in the game, but that's really because they don't fit the static orientation of what I like to run. You guys know I love spread, no huddle, but that's neither here nor there. We're just going to go ahead and roll with this. And we're going to get into two running plays that complement each other very well. Now, one of you guys asked the question, what do you do against aggressive man coverage like two-man on the outside where you get press or cover one press, okay? And I think based upon your question, I could kind of see how that gives you issues. Maybe it's because you get a lot of disruption with the press on the outside and you don't know how to deal with it. Okay, well, against like press type stuff, notice how these defenders are on the same level or the same plane. What I mean by that is if this guy was playing off and he was here and this guy was pressing, then they would be on a different plane, right? But when they're on the same plane, so maybe they're running press on the outside, what you want to do is you want to get into different route combinations that where you can get rub and pick action, okay? Because if we can run something to where these defenders kind of run into each other or one has to run over or under the other guy, that's where we create space for another route. This is where, so I made a video on the slout concept, and essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to, maybe you have something where the out has to run and rub the hip of his receiver on the outside, and what that does is if you're going to play inside leverage, you're running with this route, and now I'm running off of the hip of the slant, you are forced to make a decision because you can't run through my player or your player, so you have to run either over or under. In either situation, that creates space for us to throw a ball, right? Okay, so I'm gonna make videos on that, so definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, I'll eventually make videos on that. Number two, against two-man, okay, another thing you can do is you can exploit your second level defenders in the box. And the way you do that is because in two-man you have two deep half safeties. We are playing man coverage on the outside, and what that does is these players who are in man-to-man coverage with the back and the tight end here, we can put them into conflict, okay? Now the way you do that is you run play action, right? Because these backers have run fit responsibilities, okay? So if you snap the ball and you look like you're handing the ball off at the mesh point, okay, he's got to make a decision. Am I going to play the run or am I going to play man coverage on the tight end here? Let's say we have a play action tight end on the post, okay? Now if he's wrong and he's late on getting back into man coverage on this guy, now our tight end has a step inside leverage with two deep half safeties. This is where you may run something like this, because you want the safeties to widen. You want to put a little bit of pressure on these guys, and now you run with that play action, and now we can get a ball here on a deep middle post. Okay, so I made a video on that with Peyton Manning. He did pretty much that same exact thing against the Dolphins, I think in 2009, where they were in two-man. He ran play action. The backer stepped hard and was a little bit late getting back into man coverage on Dallas Clark. He threw that post, and he got an 80-yard touchdown first play of the game, okay? And, why was that defense in two-man on 1st and 10 against Peyton Manning? Because when you are good at attacking with the passing game, a lot of times teams want to be in a too high shell or double high split safety coverage because we get a +1 in the pass distribution, right? Where we get a 3-on-2 and we get a 4-on-3, all right? You kind of discourage a defense from wanting to sit in single high in a lot of cases because you can get a lot of one-on-one opportunities on the outside. You have a lot of passing concepts to attack single high. Essentially, when I'm playing the game, I want my opponent to be in single high. To me, it's easier to attack, okay? But that doesn't mean that I don't dart up double high as well. But I think what's most important, and this is the third thing I'll go over in attacking two-man or double high in general, is you want to run the ball. You have to be effective in running. Well, you don't have to, but it will definitely open up your passing game when you're consistent in running the ball against double high. Okay, I think we kind of overcomplicate things. When you're in single high, okay, we'll check in on a lot more passing plays. When you're in double high, we will exploit the soft box that you present whenever you present it in double high. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into this. This video will dive into 2 different running plays, inside zone and a play from this playbook called HB Punch, and they both complement each other very well. They complement each other in a way that I haven't had in previous Maddens. So right away I'm thinking about what I want to do, and then when he makes that shift, I immediately think, okay, you know what, I'm going to run inside zone, okay? So when it comes to running the ball, guys, yes, I look to see if it's double high, but I'm not necessarily concerned too much about what the coverage is, whether it's two-man, quarters, press, whatever it is. It's more so about whether or not it's double high and the front. That's what I'm most concerned about with running the ball. And the reason why I like this is because, again, it's double high, and this front is good for inside zone to run. And the reason why that is because we get a maximum amount of double teams at the point of attack. So go watch my video on the inside zone running concept. I won't go over it here. But after you do it, 10, 15 times, it'll become second nature. You know what's going to happen. All right, he's going to step play side, deal with this guy. He's covered. He'll deal with him, step play side, and now we get our first double team. So now we're going to peel off and combo block to the second level backer. Step backside, get him, step play side. Play side, get him, and then we'll peel off and get this guy, and you get him. You see how we get 2 double teams at the point of attack? So this is what I check into inside zone here. Okay, that's exactly what we get here. And we pick up big yardage on, I believe that was first down. All right, so this is where inside zone can kind of get into some issues. And again, you see how it's still double high? He's probably still running the same play, but the running who picks up who is different on this play, even though we're running the same play. It's because the front is different, right? So now we get less of a double team element up front, all right? Because I'm covered, I have to get him, and because I'm covered and this guy isn't here, right? If he was not here and he was at this X, when I could step play side and then combo block to him, but because he now is covering me, I cannot help you because then he would have a free path to the quarterback, right? So now, right away, he has to deal with him. And we still get the double team backside, right? But now we have less of a double team element. And this is where I kind of shy away from inside zone. And this is where I would get into issues in previous Maddens with my offense from this formation, when teams would run double high and then check in the fronts that would minimize some of the effectiveness of inside zone, right? So I still ran inside zone here, but I'm glad I ran it to show you how we don't get that double team element here. And what he actually did here is he actually was in double high pre and then rotated it into single high. You'll see it here. This guy blitzes, so he has to come down. He's deep middle. So that's what he did here. But that's not the real issue with this play, because when they show double high pre and rotate into single high post, the running, the way everyone picks up the blocks doesn't really change too much, okay? That's why I'm not really concerned about them rotating into single high during running plays. All right. So you'll see this. I'll step, play side, and then I'll cut backside because I liked this double team element here. And basically what we're trying to do is make our guard or tackle right. Okay, if we're gonna come backside. Okay, so doesn't matter what he does. If he seals him from the outside, then we cut outside, right? If this guy remained inside and then we peeled and sealed him off from the inside, well, then we cut inside. In other words, we are always making him right based upon how we run the ball here, all right? So we just cut outside, we get a really big play. Okay, this looks like over, double high, so I check an inside zone. Okay, double team, double team. Now, notice how he was, see, it's obvious what was going on here. He stayed in double high a lot in the game, and I just kept punishing him with obviously passing concepts to attack double high, but I was consistent with the run. And he was getting tired of it, so he was being a lot more aggressive. See how he's just flaring down right away as a second level defender. And this is kind of where Madden is a little bit off, I think. I watched a video on an offensive line coach, and he taught how in combo blocks, what he would teach is you want to hold this combo block as long as possible. So if this guy stays in the second level as we're running this play, you know, there's no need for you to get off of this combo block prematurely to seal him off if he's taking himself out of the play with his positioning during the play anyways. But if he flares off right away like this, well then you kind of got to peel off a little bit early to seal him off from making a play, right? In other words, you come off of the combo block when it's necessary to do so, okay? And what I've noticed in Madden is if you get this type of action right away, he can sometimes be a little bit late peeling off, okay? So keep that in mind. See how he's a little bit late there, but I remain play side anyways. Okay, he's in that over type front again. I ran it again. We get that double team element, and now I cut back. Okay, so now we get into HB punch. Okay, so look at the front, right? He's in double high, which is good, right? So, you know, I can decide to stay in the passing play, but I'm like, you know what, I still want to run the ball. And this is where I would get into problems in previous Maddens with the way I run offense, guys, because guys would do something like this, where they would stay in double high, which is fine, but then they would run a front that would minimize the effectiveness of inside zone. So yeah, I would still throw the ball with success, but it would condense or limit my options in attacking double high, because then I couldn't run inside zone, and that's the problem with this formation. One of the weaknesses of a formation with an offset back is you don't have a lot of different running concepts to run. It's not like we can run counter, sweep, HB toss, pin and pull, right? You don't have a lot of options with an offset back. You're kind of limited. So when they run a front that is good against inside zone, this is where you can kind of get into issues in running the ball. So I would be forced to throw into double high, and you know, it would limit my options. In comes HB punch this year, all right? So with HB punch, what we're gonna get is our guard is going to do a kick out block against a front like this, okay? So the tight end, the way I read this is someone over the tight end? The answer is no, okay? So there's someone out, okay? So he's not going to block him, he's going to step inside, and this is where we get a double team here, and then they'll peel and combo block to him, okay? This guy will step in, double team, and now he'll get him. You see how we still get a maximum amount of double teams at the point of attack, even with a front like this. While with inside zone, if we were to run inside zone and this guy were to mug again, now we get less of that double team action up front, okay? So it's a way where when you get into a front and you try to minimize my double team activity up front, I can check into a different run to where I still maintain all of that, right? So we'll see that here. Double team peel. Peel, and then he'll kick him out. There it is. And it looks like he was confused because this was the first time I ran this play. So when he didn't see that, when he saw that guard pulling, I guess he didn't know where to go, obviously. It looked like he wanted to run outside, and he runs back inside, thinking of inside zone, but we're not running inside zone. You peel out, obviously, now you're sealed off from the outside. What I also like about that, notice how the wide receiver stems up and gets the safety. So it looks like he was in cover 2 zone with this guy playing outside leverage. I like how he just immediately gets to the safety. If you're going to force a player to make a play, I would rather the corner have to make a play in the box as opposed to the safety, right? That's what we get. He gets that safety, and the corner is forced to make a tackle there. And that's why these two running plays play very well together. There are fronts where HB punch is not good, but inside zone is great against it. And then there are fronts where inside zone is minimized with its effectiveness, but HB punch complements it very well. Okay, and you see what starts to happen. Now he's staying in double high, but now he's doing all types of funky stuff because he's sick and tired of the run. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in a spot to where guys are now starting to try to run a total different element in their defense, or they start to compromise the integrity of the defense, or they start doing things with a deep middle safety and bring him down. You want to put them in spots to where now, okay, like constraint theory, where our bread and butter is punishing you, and now you start to cheat, and then we punish you for cheating. Okay, that's the spot you want to be. All right, so here I think I ran HB punch again, so we could look at this and see how it's going to go. Sometimes you could be wrong in this. He should come over and peel and get this guy. I think we should still get 2 double teams. Let's see. That's what we got. Look how we got 2 double teams up front, but look, he's aggressively attacking, and this is the problem with this play. Because the guard is leaving right away, and this guy didn't step backside, he's able to make a play, right? But I threw that in there to show you one of the ways that HB punch can be a problem if your opponent is getting real aggressive up front and mugging backers in a front like that. That's where you may want to check out of that running play. Okay, so we can take a look at this. All right, tight end, is someone inside? Yeah, so now he's forced to, this is where we get a double team, okay? And now the guard, instead of going for the end man in the line of scrimmage, he's gonna come to the second level defender here, right? So this is where this running play kind of plays a lot differently, okay? And then we leave this guy, he's free. So how do you deal with a free guy on the backside here? This is where you want the quarterback to threaten a quarterback read play. That's where you kind of hold this guy. All right, now obviously we can't do that in Madden, but you want to have answers for guys that are free in the box. So the reason why I did this on the outside is because with my the plays that I run, I do motion this guy in, so I don't want it to where every time I motion him in, he knows it's a pass. You still want everything to look the same. I make the same hot route, right? Notice he's free, right? But the quarterback needs to be a threat to bounce it outside to hold this guy. And the blocking is exactly the way I put it. He peeled around and got that second level backer. And now we're trying to squeeze into this hole here. And if I would have jumped over the user there, we would have got a touchdown there. All right, inside zone, right? Yep, inside zone. So, I mean, this may not be the most exciting video. Usually when it's like this, I drop 2 videos in one day to appeal to a little bit of excitement. Should get a double team here. Get that. Oh, I really don't like this here. See how he's hard inside? It's going to be hard for him to get that guy. So, I think I ran it anyways. I did. All right, so the way we make this guy right is we kind of got to bounce it outside. So it's not ideal, but we still got a big play because, again, it's a soft box there. Okay, this is where I checked in the punch. I probably did because I didn't like this guy on the inside there. I think we still could have ran inside zone anyways. But we could take a look at this and see how it'll pick up, see if I can get this right. So we should get a double team here. Double team here. And then he should peel the second level. So we have a problem here if that's the way it's going to go, because he's going to have inside arm free inside. Let's see what happens here. Yeah. But I was wrong on the blocking there, and we still got a really big play. Juked him out of his cleats. But I want to go back and take a look at that blocking scheme there. This is where HB plunge is a little bit different. I think he had some stunting going on there. Okay, so the way they do this, you're still second level. You get him. Okay, so the way they deal with this guy, so I was wrong on that. To stop him from having that inside arm free, you seal him off. That's the way it looks like. So I wonder if he goes for him and then he's free again. Let's take a look. No, so they let him be free. This guy's free in the box. He should be. He is. And we scoot it outside and get a big game. So this is the one running play because it's kind of new in this formation for me. When I get like weird fronts like that, I'm not like fine-tuned in how it's gonna block. You can still be halfway right on one side, and a lot of times you're just reading where there's open space and attacking wherever that space is. So obviously inside zone here, we know what's gonna happen. And we get a good game there. So, you know, I'll again, no huddle, no huddle, no huddle. Hey, I will run the ball, and then yes, I will still pass the ball too. So for this play, guys, you guys should know by now, we're running levels on the left, we're running sail on the right, sails for single high, this is for double high. So obviously we get a double high presentation. So the read is, we're gonna read the backside safety here. If he stays, my eyes stay on this side of the field. If he leaves the deep middle or buzzes down, that's when we know they're rotating the single high and we go here, right? It's just the way it is. Snap, okay, he's staying, so we know it's double high. So the second read we get is this player. He dictates where we're gonna go with the ball, okay? If he plays up into the window here, then we'll just have all this open space to hit the underneath end. And that's exactly what happens. Okay, now right here in the play, I know I'm throwing that underneath in. And we pick up 7 yards. So I think that is it, guys. Again, inside zone and HB plunge is the first video. Again, these running plays complement each other so well. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but we can go ahead and play it. Again, so he peeled for that second level. Let's go back. But what I love about this play is that on some plays, he kicks out the end man on the line of scrimmage, and if there is no guy because he's over the tight end, then he's going for the second level. It's almost like an inside zone split type of play on that kick out there, or like a counter type deal. or power, or whatever you want to call it, where we're pulling the guard for a second level defender. All right, so here I think it goes something like this. It gets kind of funky here. Do they double team? No, that can't be it. Yeah, no, so he steps backside. Yeah, so they do double team backside. So this is strange with this guy in the A gap here, but they do step hard backside to get him. And he gets him, so he's got to get the second level defender on that play side there. He has to get him. So I guess they're combo blocking to that guy there. And they just remain on the double team the whole time because he steps over and we're not really concerned about him. And we're able to get a really big play. So I'll leave it at that, guys. HB inside zone and HB plunge. Both plays that complement each other very well, because what we're trying to do against double highs, we're trying to get the most amount of double teams at the point of attack as possible, at least the way I run my offense. I hope you got something from this video, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.